So here we are in Captain Cook Holiday Village in 1770. I managed to go out yesterday with a client and actually have a bit of a fish myself, which is pretty rare. And my mate let me take a few fish home for a feed, which was good. And today we're going to do a how to fillet video. So here at Captain Cook Holiday Village, it's a magnificent park with cabins and plenty of camping area. And the main thing is they let you have your boat here, and they've got an amazing filleting station and a washdown, the boat washdown, which is great because council, we don't actually have any public fish filleting areas, so guys are always chasing somewhere to do it. But if you stay here, you've got the facilities, which is great. When I'm doing my filleting, I've gone away from the standard flexi filleting knives that a lot of guys use. They're really good if you're taking a whole side off at a time, but because I'm working down over the bones, I like to use a bone knife, funnily enough, and a little Vitrinox or Schwebo, anything like that, and that way you can get a nice start and just keep running down over the bones and get a nice fillet off. Sharpen it, which is another skill to have, because if you want to fillet, you've got to have sharp knives. This is my old block I made in TAFE, my trade, my apprenticeship, and it's basically just want a little bit of lubricant, not too much, but you also want a bit of cleaner to be able to clean the oil back out so it's not all clogged up. And you've just got to work your own technique out, but it's basically just a swiping motion. And with my skinning knife, I usually like to use a bigger knife. I had this one made up for me, and with trout it won't be too bad, but if you're filleting mackerel, cobia, those pelagics with really thin skin, you can cut the skin as you're trying to skin it because it's so thin. So when I do my knife, when I'm finished, I'll hone that feather upwards. So I fillet that way, so I want that feather pointing upwards. So I'll always just run that knife at the end and just push the feather on the edge upwards. So when you're filleting, it's cutting up into the flesh more than down into the skin, and that's how I like to do it. So we're about to fillet the fish. We have ice from the survey. You buy these 20 kilo bags of ice. Very important to keep your catch on ice. I bleed straight away, and then as soon as they're bled, straight into the ice. Keep them like that. Keep them in a good box or one of the new fish bags. Salt, because I've got fresh water here, I bring my own rock salt to add a bit of salt back to the water. If I can, I'll bring salt in buckets from the ocean. It's always the best. The big debate on whether you can use fresh water or not, I don't think it really matters too much, but anything you can do will help. And then you make up a really nice ice slurry, plenty of ice in the water, and a bit of salt, and then that's ready to go. Okay, so a couple of fish out. It's a little coral trout. Sorry, little coral trout I got yesterday. Not so little. Yeah, only about 20 mile out. It's good ground. You don't have to go all the way to the reef. It's beautiful out there, but if you just want to go fishing, it starts around 9 mile really. And yeah, that's about 20 mile. So we're going to do him up today. Boning knife, and we'll take the wings off, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So up behind the pectoral fin, just come in up towards the head, and then back down, and then working your way along the backbone, just going in, so you're just taking the skin and just getting a start pretty much. And from there, it's a matter of working your way in and up and over those bones. When you get down to the tail end, you'll see the rib cage. You want to come inside and back down the other angle then. And then you take that off, and then I work my way back up the fish. Keeping in mind that you're trying to retain as much flesh as possible, so take your time, and once you get once you get a technique going, just keep at it. I was making a bit of a mess when I first started, but then there's that bone right here, which can be a bit tricky. Got to get him, and then you'll find it'll lay away, and I flip my fish a bit just to help me get that last little bit. And that's that. One fillet of trout. One fillet's off. And just to show you how I got that fillet, you're working behind the pectoral fin, up towards the head, turn it, and come down the dorsal spine, down the backbone. And you're really just getting in there and getting a start on it. Is what you're trying to do. And then from there, you start working your way along that backbone. You see in there, I'm just taking it up just over the top of those bones, and when I get down towards the tail, I'll poke it back down the other way and take that off. And from there, it's a matter of just working your way back up. You can see that. Just working your way along those bones so that you're retaining as much flesh as you can. There's a couple of little tricky ones in here that you've got to actually break the bone. Sometimes I use a different knife when I'm doing a lot of fish, so I'm not dulling my filleting knife. And there's those bones there, and then you come down over the rib cage. And basically, that's it. Make it look hard. And that's your trout fillet right there. And then we'll skin it. Off, we're going to skin it. My purpose-made skinning knife, thanks to Pete. So you leave yourself a little bit to grip. And once you get started, trout's got a pretty thick skin, so it's pretty easy. And then I just wobble the fillet and push the knife away from me, and that'll drag the fillet off. And there we have two beautiful fillets of trout. So now we've got the fillets off, everyone will be screaming, what about the wings? So we'll keep the wings, we'll give them to the old boy, he'll love them. So these are the wings. There's a lot of meat left on them, and if you can see in here, there's a little tag end of sort of bone that comes down, and you just go underneath it, up that way, and then back down. As you go around it, come back down the other way, and you can get that off without having to chop through the bulk and ruin your knife. I'll show you on the other side. So there it is there, a little tag end. Just got to get underneath it and go upwards towards the head. Get started up inside, and it should just, once you're around that tag, should just cut away. And that's it. A bit gross, but it also makes for a good feed. And that's your wings. Give them a clean up in the ice brine, and they'll be beautiful. So now our trout's filleted. I'm going to show you how to debone it and the last bit of prep. We've got a resident here who wants to make a soup. So there you go.
Good man.
Trout head for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Alright, now to do the boning, all you really got to know is that lateral line holds your pin bones and the ribs. So they're really the only bones you got to worry about. So just make sure you tidy up those ribs. There's no bones in there. And then you just come down 5 mil, about half a centimetre, either side of that fillet, either side of the lateral line, the bone, and take those pin bones out. Just work my way back in. That there's all your pin bones from the middle. And so that there is a boneless trout fillet straight into the ice slurry. And to do your wings, same deal. Just give it a clean up in the ice slurry and give it to your old man. Can be very hard to cook when they're that thick, so to prep them up into meal-sized bags, I like to do them in a medallion style. So if you can see there, there's a sort of a grain to the fish. It runs back towards the tail there. So to do them up to nice easy cooking size, I go along that grain and just basically medallion them up into a size like that, and that way that's a nice easy to cook. You can separate them into smaller portions for 2 people, and yeah, that's how I do my end job. And straight in the ice slurry, clean them up and into Ziploc bags. If you've got a cryovac, kudos, because that's the best way to keep them. Thanks.